why do Mormons stay in the church even though there's so many reasons for them to leave? Let's answer this with a little bit of backstory from me. My parents were both Mormon. They met on their Mormon mission. They got married. They had 8 kids. They were very, very, very active, like church every Sunday, all the activities. And when I was 6 years old, my mom left. It wasn't as simple as they got divorced. Very messy, very much, I guess, one-sided. It was such a scandal. If you were a child of divorce in the Mormon church in the early 2000s, how are you today? How's your mental health? And I say it was a scandal. What I mean by that is, I remember at the ripe age of 6 years old at church on a Sunday after my mom had left. She was MIA for about a year, 6 months to a year, because she already had a new man. What a surprise. A Mormon lady who's male-centered. Oh my gosh. I remember walking the halls at 6 years old in the church and old ladies coming up to me and asking me, "Where's your mom? What happened? Did she cheat? What happened?" A 6-year-old trying to get the tea. We were the talk of the town. Hold your tears for the end. But I remember parents not letting me hang out with their kids because they were afraid that my new household was going to be ungodly because of the divorce. And they didn't want their kids around an ungodly child. Period. All in all, after that divorce, I just felt like very much an outsider. And that instilled something in me that I think in one way or another is instilled in all Mormons, is the need to be accepted, the need for community, the need to not feel like an outsider. My mind was like, we're gonna pocket that need, but for now, let's just rebel. And so my whole childhood, honestly, was just spent rebelling. I just freaking hated the church. I hated feeling different. I would like skip church a lot. I would walk home at probably like, I don't know, 8 years old, 10 years old, or I would go sit in the bathroom. The alienation and just the treatment was just horrible. I just felt like there was something wrong with me anyways, etc. I would also say an important factor in this is people in the church telling me that because my mom decided to leave our family, that I was not going to be with her in heaven. News to me. But when I was like 16, my dad, who was always the more lenient one when it came to the church, left, and I decided to finish out high school. He left, he moved out of state. I decided to finish out high school in California with my mother. My mom was the crazy church one. And like, I'll tell her this to her face. The church was everything. The church was everything. And I just was so sick of feeling like an outsider. I just wanted to be normal. There are so many like girls my age in the church that my mom would compare me to and want me to be like. And I just decided like, I want to feel like I have a community. I want to not feel like I'm on the outside anymore. So I just like dived into the church, and I was the perfect Mormon daughter. I remember my I made it moment. If you know, you know. My I made it moment in the church was when I was 17 or 18. Mind you, I got like a little pretty. I got asked to say the opening prayer in church. And I remember I was all dolled up, body tea, face tea, hair tea. When I was walking back down to my seat, one of the moms of one of the hot boys was like, "Who is that?" And I remember she was like asking about me for her son. I got chosen! All I wanted. And from that point on, I was like, I am gonna get my man. And this also, I would say this is like 80% at least of why girls may stay is because the promise of men. Like, I wanted a nice Mormon boy to like me so badly. I've talked about this in my Why Did I Go on a Mormon Mission story. So if you already know, you know. At that time, I met my dream man, my dream Mormon man. He was a missionary in my ward. Girl, I was so head over heels for this guy. Like, we would have him and his companion over for dinner like 3 times a week. They would come over to the house just all the time. And my mom, who is like delusional, of course, she's a Mormon, she would tell me all the time, like, he likes you back, girl. He likes you back. Like, you're gonna marry him. She told me one time that she had like a dream about us. And for some reason, like, I don't know if it's because my mom's Hispanic or just Mormon, but people believed her dreams as like prophecy. And she told me that she dreamt that we were together. And so I was like, there's my future. As you've heard in my Why I Went on a Mission story, obviously me and this boy didn't work out. I will say we wrote each other after he got transferred out of my ward, and then I ended up going on my mission. We wrote each other for X amount of time. I don't even remember, but like I was sure we were gonna date. And then on my mission, I found out that like he married someone from his mission, like literally a few months after getting home, he got married. He was one of those that just wanted to get his life started, and I was heartbroken because he was most of the reason why I was staying in the church. Even though I had that rebellious little Mormon kid inside me, I just wanted the dream. I really did. People stay in the church because they want to feel like they have a place in the world. They want to have a community. They want purpose in life. They want to feel accepted, like they belong. They want a happy life. And here you have a church telling you, if you just be a part of this and do XYZ, like you'll have everything you've ever dreamed, your dream career, your dream husband, your dream family. Money will be right. Everything will go well. And that's called your promised blessings. And like, I wanted that too. I spent my whole life thinking that like something was just wrong with me. And I guess like I just wasn't meant to have those kinds of things. And I challenged the narrative, and I was like, no, I'm going to do everything Mormon and I'm going to get this dream life. And it didn't work out. And I realized the church was a farce. The one who was going to make my dream life, the dream, was me. And my dream life wasn't some prescribed lifestyle that the church told me it had to be. It could be anything I wanted it to be. And now there are things in my current life that I would consider part of my dream life. That I never would have thought would have been my dream life until I took myself out of that prescribed lifestyle and let myself dream. So when you start like going toe to toe with the Mormon, when you're like going toe to toe about doctrine, you have to remember that people aren't staying in the church because of Joseph Smith. They may say it's because of Joseph Smith and Jesus Christ and all that, but at the end of the day, if we're being honest, it's because they want happiness. They want a protected life. They want some sort of control when it comes to how their life will go, what will happen when they die. Like they just want control. And here comes the church telling you, do XYZ, you'll get XYZ. That's control. If you are currently in the church or recently left, just know it gets better. Like life isn't perfect. Unfortunately, what you were sold was a lie. But like, your honest, authentic life is always going to be the better choice.